Can you actually foresee the days when the apartheid is dismantled and occupation is ended in the Palestinian land?
I believe that it's a promise from God. So of course, I can clearly see it. I can imagine every detail about the liberation of Palestine. It's a promise from God, and I know that no matter how long it took, it's going to happen. And to be honest, I wish it happens in my life so that I could, visit Jerusalem, because as a citizen of the Gaza Strip, I am unallowed inside of Palestine, whether it's to the West Bank or to the occupied territories. So Alhamdulillah, yes, I believe that it's going to be liberated. I have a lot of faith. And this is basically the hope that we as Palestinians have. This is what's keeping us going.
Yeah, surely. Thank you, Sister Afaf. John, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I do. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not a religious person, so I have to, in terms of having hope, I have to answer in social or political, historical terms. And then when you address that question, I can see why it is a difficult question, and why you would say, what hope does one see? Because the Israeli armed forces are overwhelmingly powerful in the area. It is not possible, sadly, but I think one has to say this, for the Palestinian people they can resist, and they resist heroically, but it is probably not possible for them to win a military struggle against Israel to liberate themselves. And the Israelis are determined to maintain their position of power. So how could such liberation happen? Here now there is a big debate about the two-state solution or a one-state solution. I don't think the two-state solution is viable now. Actually, I never did, to be honest with you. I never thought it was going to, but it's now dead as a solution, because Israel has destroyed any basis through the settlers, or the illegal settlers and so on, destroyed any basis for a separate and parallel state for the Palestinian people, and have no intention of allowing it, clearly not any intention of allowing it. So therefore we are talking about how could the apartheid state be dismantled? How could it be defeated? We're talking about the defeat of Zionism. And here, I think this is another reason why international solidarity and pressure on the American government, the British government, the EU, and so on is extremely important. But crucially, what I believe is a tough answer, because it's a tough question, but it's my honest, you asked for an honest answer. My honest answer is that the liberation of the Palestinian people is bound up with the liberation of the people of the Middle East as a whole. Most importantly, the people of Egypt. Egypt is also, we heard they brokered the ceasefire because they could talk to both sides. This is diplomatic talk. Egypt is actually acted as agents of the Americans. And Egypt has a cruel regime at the moment led by al-Sisi, in which the Egyptian people are held under a tyrannical dictatorship. Maybe 60,000 are imprisoned and so on. And many other states, like Saudi Arabia in the area, have no democracy in them and so on. So now, is this possible? I think it is possible. I think in 2011, with the Arab Spring, we saw that a democratic movement of liberation was possible in the Middle East. And I think if that happened, that you would then find that there would be an alliance between such liberated Egyptian, Saudi, Arab peoples in the Middle East and the Palestinians. And then I think Zionism would be defeated. And I think the Americans would abandon them because they would no longer serve a function for them. They would become a liability. So that's what I believe is my honest, that is my hope. That is where I see the future. But international solidarity with the Palestinian people is hugely important for all this. Okay.